obviously the massive conversation piece right now whenever it comes to negotiating and agents and everything like that is the Lamar Jackson deal with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the precedent was set, I guess, with Deshaun Watson with his $230 million guaranteed. Before that, Kirk Cousins got like a 3-year, $91 million fully guaranteed. And guaranteed contracts, you know this more than anybody, have been something that have been sought for by players for decades and generations and generations. Do you think this Lamar situation continues with that precedent of guaranteed contracts or ups the percentage of guaranteed contracts? Or how do you think you see it panning out as somebody that is not involved, just your punditry of knowing the business as well as you do?
I wish I was the agent for Lamar Jackson because he's a great football player, and I'm confident I could get a deal worked out for him. Pat, I think guaranteed contracts are amazing. And obviously, as an agent, would love to see all contracts in the NFL fully guaranteed and be more consistent with what we see in Major League Baseball and the NBA. But I don't think you must have, let's say, a 5-year fully guaranteed contract to make it work. What if you did 4 years fully guaranteed at signing and you had the final year guaranteed based on an injury guarantee, or one that becomes fully guaranteed based on performance? There should be a compromise. I, as an agent, learned a long time ago, try to stay away from extremes. Deshaun Watson is a very good contract, but that doesn't mean in order to get a great deal, you have to have the exact deal that Deshaun Watson gets. Maybe you get more money overall than Deshaun Watson. Maybe you get more money than Deshaun Watson in the first year, the second year, the third year, and through 4 years, and maybe the fifth year isn't guaranteed, but you offset that guarantee by getting more money overall in the first 4 years.
Yeah.
There's ways to get deals done, is my point. And Lamar, like any player, has the right to represent himself. As the 35-year veteran of this business, I'm confident I could get with the Ravens and their general manager, Eric DaCosta, and work out a deal with Eric. If not that, I'm confident that I could find another team to work out a suitable deal as a franchise player and try and set up a deal for 2 first-round picks.
Drew, aren't you in South Florida, right? Do you know Lamar? Have you ever reached out? How would that work? He would have to reach out to you? How would that whole thing?
No, he doesn't have an agent. We've reached out a couple times. He hasn't expressed an interest in hiring us. I'm right in his backyard. He's a South Florida guy, so am I. Lamar, if you watch this great show,
thank you.
Consider this to be an invitation to hire me. We'll work it out. I'll get you signed, and you'll be a very happy man if you do.
Hell yeah, there's hundreds of millions of dollars at stake here. You know, and the NFL has been doing business one particular way for a long time. You've been doing it for 35 years. You also know other situations. I'm not saying that Lamar won't be able to negotiate his own deal. I'm somebody that I've negotiated my own deals. Hundreds of millions of dollars I've negotiated my own deals. But there's some places where you're negotiating with, it's like, I'm not the right person to be representing me in this conversation. This might be one of them, and you are the perfect human to potentially get in there.
And the ability to find ways to get deals done. There isn't just one way to get a deal done. You can structure deals differently. You can structure guarantees differently. You can have signing bonuses and front-load contracts. You could create voidable years. You could do a shorter term, maybe a 2-year deal. There's a lot of ways around this. I'd love to have a shot at getting Lamar signed.
Okay, well, good luck out there, Drew. We're all pulling for you.
We'll get it done.
Because we want Lamar to get a couple $100 million. He's earned it. He's deserved it. I hope it happens. Go ahead, AJ.
Drew, what were your initial thoughts when you first read through Deshaun Watson's contract when he signed that with Mulugeta as his agent? And did you have any idea at the time, like, the impact it would have on the rest of the league?
Well, I was very excited, obviously, because I think he set a precedent, Deshaun Watson, that for any top quarterback, it's obviously a wonderful deal, and it's one that the top quarterback should all shoot for. You know, and one of your great guests, Aaron Rodgers, he's been a master in his representation at getting great deals, and you know, he's the guy that should be making somewhere around $50 million ultimately this year when he's a New York Jet. I'm sure that's going to happen. You would know better than me. But I thought the Watson deal was a game changer for quarterbacks, just like I thought the deal we did for Tyreek Hill was a game changer for wide receivers.
Yeah.
You know, when
That changed the whole world.
It was a big one. We guaranteed the first 3 years of his contract at signing, and he became the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, regardless of position. I think it helps. When you see deals like Tyreek's, Deshaun Watson, it's just another ladder for other great players to sign and to climb and get better deals. And I admire Lamar for going for it. I just would love to see him align himself with people that could help him make the most of this opportunity.
Hey, Drew.
It only comes once.
Hey, Drew. So, whenever we think about Lamar representing himself, okay, and this is if Lamar gets a chance to see this, which I'm not assuming he is, but if he does get to see it, I think Lamar has the idea, and this is as somebody who has negotiated for myself in a lot of situations. He thinks to himself, I know what my number should be. I know that I could potentially talk my way to that number if I was given the opportunity to discuss what I owe, what I'm owed, what I should get. I could give some stuff up. There's a lot of people that are very street smart and savvy whenever it comes to that type of stuff that are also players. So I respect whenever guys want to do their own business. I do it. But with that being said, there is something to what you just having a conversation in a relationship with everybody in the fucking NFL and knowing what situations are potentially available and being able to reach out to them and say, hey, this could happen. Is it all just your network, the way you deliver a message? What is it you think that makes a good agent a good agent?
Well, certainly I understand Lamar's logic is saying, hey, I'm a better player than Deshaun Watson and, I don't have the baggage off the field and I should get a better deal than he got. It's just not that simple. And, when we approached the Chiefs last year about making Tyreek Hill the highest paid wide receiver in the game, it wasn't that simple for them either because they had Patrick Mahomes and Chris Jones and a lot of other great players, and they couldn't make that work. And so they gave me the opportunity to shop for a trade with Tyreek. And ultimately, we found a first-round pick, multiple day 2 picks, and it was a bonanza for the Chiefs, and it was a great deal for the Dolphins. Everybody won. Tyreek he had one of the great years ever for a wide receiver, and the Chiefs landed a bunch of picks they could use to build on defense that helped them win a championship again. So that's what I'm talking about. The ability as a veteran agent to talk to 31 other teams and try and find a sweet spot.
Okay, my point was that you have a lot of relationship that Lamar does not have. If you was the agent, I'm quite sure that you can go and try to pitch deals before the tag part probably came, right?
Absolutely.
So
you should avoid the franchise tag.
Right. So if you was the agent, do you think you could have got this done before that? And second of all, if he was listening to this, how much would you charge him? Would it be 3%?
Oh, no, it's got to be 2, 1.5. Got to be 1.5.
I got to ask for the number.
It's got to be down there.
Let me say this. Number one, my fee would be negotiable for Lamar.
Oh,
hey, there's what. Hey, Lamar. Lamar, you're doing the business, Lamar. There you are. You're hiring somebody to negotiate.
It would definitely be negotiable, right? I'd have some flexibility. That's number one. Number two, what I believe is I would have gotten a deal done with the Ravens before he would have gotten franchise tag because I think that the Ravens are very motivated to sign him. I know for a fact that they appreciate how great he is, and I'm confident we would have found a sweet spot to get it done. With that being said, let's just say you got the Indianapolis Colts out there, and they've got a new head coach, Shane Steichen, who was the offensive coordinator from the Eagles. They need a quarterback. You got Chris Ballard, who's a great GM, and you've got an owner in Jim Irsay. Pat knows him very well. Pat was a Colt. Irsay wants to win. Say what you will about him. He wants to win. So I get on the phone with Chris Ballard right now, and I'd say, Chris, you've tried. You've gone all out for guys like Wentz. You've made moves for Matt Ryan. You got nailed when Luck retired early on. Let's make it happen for Lamar Jackson. 2 first-round picks. Forget about it. This year, you've got the 4th pick. You're going to gamble on Anthony Richardson or Will Levis. They're very talented guys, but we don't know what they can do in the NFL. My opinion is give up that first-round pick. Next year's first-round pick with Lamar Jackson's going to be a late first-rounder anyway because you're going to be a playoff team with him.
Give up pick
Let's
32.
Get this deal done. This will turn this franchise around. Let's go, Chris.
Wow.
Hell yeah. And then you call, and
pitch.
if he, you then text me and say, like, hey, Chris is saying it can't happen. I'm like, cool. Let me text Jim. I'll text Jim. Not that you don't have a relationship with Jim. And it's like, hey, you know what? I'll negotiate my fee as well. You know what I mean? I'll negotiate my fee in this entire thing. But is Jim involved in that stuff, or is it mostly Chris? Chris is obviously highly respected by everybody and Jim Irsay. But is this something with a quarterback at that level, Jim would have to be involved, I'd assume?
I would say in dealing with the Colts over the years, I have not dealt much with Jim Irsay. I've dealt entirely with Chris Ballard. Ballard's got a real good team around him, good executives. They've got an assistant GM and Ed Dodds. So they're a deep front office. But let's face it, Irsay, he's very hands-on. We all saw that with Jeff Saturday's hiring last year. But I do think there are many teams out there like the Colts where Lamar Jackson would be a huge upgrade and would make a ton of sense.
And sell a lot of tickets, Drew.
Yep. Yeah. Jerseys.
No doubt. And listen, I'll say this. I'm pretty confident that Eric DeCosta, whatever deal I could get from another team, I'm pretty sure Eric DeCosta is going to stamp that deal and say, we'll match it. I don't think they're letting Lamar go.
Okay.
I expect Lamar to be a Raven, but it sure would be nice to get out there and negotiate that contract and get a deal done. And I think the Ravens would match it, in my opinion. End of the story. Everybody wins.